All right, Austin. So to start off, tell us what schools you went to.
Well, I started out in Arvada at Van Arsdale, and I was kind of an outsider there. Then I moved to Longmont in 4th grade, and I was at Eagle Crest, Altona, and now Silver Creek.
During your time here at Silver Creek, what was the most memorable thing that happened to you? And I don't mean outside of school. I mean like our class is a pretty rowdy bunch. So when an assembly or something like that happens, something's going to go wrong for the administration. So what was the most memorable sort of collected memory you have of Silver Creek?
Of the actual class?
Yes.
Okay. I don't know, whenever Cole got up and decided he was a winter sports captain was pretty good.
It can be something as small as even like something that happened in class.
I know, there's a lot of time I've spent here.
Go through them all. You don't even have to narrow it down to one.
We have Cole. We have just general yelling in assemblies. The times people have just gotten up and left class. That was pretty entertaining.
What? People just left class?
Yeah, last year in Trig, Olia Martin just decided she was fed up with Miss Van and stood up and left class.
That's hilarious. Have you seen that at all this year with our seniors?
Not yet, but that could change. It's the beginning of second semester. We got time.
I'll ask about a time that we had as a class. The Jostens presentation. Or not the the Jostens presentation. What was that like? Take us through it, because I don't want to tell. I'm not telling the story. You are. Take us through your account of the Jostens presentation.
Okay, so Jostens came in and they're like, "Hey, everybody, we're gonna sell you your cap and gown and all that stuff," and pretty much no senior cared at all. They could have given us the packet and said, "Go order your stuff," and we would have been fine. But they had to take us and be like, "This is the special thing you can get here," and give us more money and whatever. So everyone was just kind of screwing around and yelling, and I was definitely not paying attention for any of it. Then they measured your head, and that was pretty much it. Yeah, because I don't remember what people were yelling because it was a long time ago. But
what about some times outside of school that have been memorable and you can retell the story over and over again with your friends and always trigger a response?
Trying to think of something I can say and not get in trouble.
Like I said, I want you to be comfortable with telling whatever story you can.
Okay, so I don't think this one should be good. So it was in between sophomore and junior year, and I was hanging out with Tim and Garrison and then our girlfriends at that time at what's that name? Clover Creek Pool, right? And it started raining and thunder and everything. So like, okay, you guys got to stop. So in the pouring rain, we were in the parking lot throwing a frisbee around, and then we decided that we wanted to go car surfing.
What?
In the pouring rain on Garrison's Prius.
What is car surfing?
Standing on top of a car as someone else drives around. So in the pouring rain, we're riding around and car surfing shirtless and shorts, and it's like, it's Colorado rain, so it's cold. And Mr. Speckle drives by. And he yells at us, like, "Get inside! Put a shirt on!" And then, drives away and does his Speckle thing, whatever. And then like an hour later, he comes back and we're still doing it. And he just kind of honks and drives by and is like, "Oh my God, I can't believe I taught those kids."
Well, how many people were doing this? Was it like a turn thing? Was it whoever falls off first
No,
loses?
we didn't fall off.
Yeah, because that would be, you would lose if you fell off.
But we just switched out.
Whenever you got too scared.
Yeah, pretty much.
How many people were in the car while the person was on?
Or 4. No, because Micah was there, Tim and Garrison were there, and I feel like there was one. No, that was it.
I mean, what else? Like, what other occasions have you shared with those guys or anyone else where you couldn't believe you got out of there? At the time, you're like, "There's no way we're getting away with this. This is the end. This is it for us." And you got away, and you still are a little. You can't believe it.
Okay, so I'm not going to say any names here because this could get some people in trouble.
Okay, that's fine.
But we snuck out of our friend's house.
Mm-hmm.
It was 3 of us. And we snuck out of their house and took their parents' car and drove to the house that our girlfriends were staying at.
Mm-hmm.
And we snuck in and hung out till like 4 in the morning. And then one of my friends said, okay, we got to go, like now, just off of a whim. We get outside and get in the car, and we look back, and the girl's parents' room light was on. So we put the car in neutral and coasted down the hill and started at the bottom of the hill. And it was like 4 in the morning. And it was probably one of the most terrifying experiences of my life. Because her dad is huge.
So all of your girlfriends were at this one house?
Yeah.
Why?
They were staying the night at that house because they were friends, and we were staying the night at the other house.
So it was like just a wild coincidence.
Well, we'd all hung out earlier that day, but we split up to go to different houses because, you know.
And were the parents there when you guys arrived, or were they supposedly out of town?
They were there. We knew they were there.
You just went through with it anyway.
Yeah.
Your time at the school, a lot of, not necessarily ups and downs, but just sort of traversing through social life here at Silver Creek. What has been your overall experience here with the people?
Pretty good, honestly. I've never really had a big problem with, too many people. Of course, there's going to be a couple people you fight with, but, I mean, it's been pretty easy here. There's not much drama. Mm-hmm. Everyone's pretty friendly.
As you went through, would you say that you pretty much started out and ended with the same friends, or have some of them kind of gone away and you've made new friends?
Well, I'm not going to lie. I started out freshman year kind of a loser. I played football. I had, like, one friend. And that was pretty much my first semester.
Please,
go on.
Excuse the interruption. May all wrestling team members be released now. Thank you.
2:28.
Couldn't you just wait for 2 minutes? Okay, go ahead.
So let's see. So I was a loser. I'm not going to lie. And then I became friends with Tim and Garrison, and we got super close. And then second semester, sophomore year, we added Tito and Zach and Chandler. Chandler's gone his own way now, and that's kind of been my main friend group. I was really good friends with Hannah until she went off the deep end. Hannah him. And yeah, I'm still pretty close to all. There's 5 of us. Yeah, so all 4 of them.
My last year, we were together a lot. In addition to like Dylan and Cade, those guys. For those who don't know, walk them through a typical night. What a typical night was like for us.
Okay, so we'd meet up. We'd all pile in one car, drive 120 miles down the diagonal, 120 miles an hour, just fly. Listen to some really, really shitty trap music sometimes electro music. We would go eat at like Southmouth or something, some Boulder place. Most of the time, there was some illegal things involved. Spent a lot of time on the hill. We'd longboard around Boulder and all kinds of stuff like that.
When it started out, we were pretty small. It was like
Yeah.
4 of us. And then it just
more and more people would get at it and just keep going. We would climb over. We went up to the satellite towers. We've got a lot of places we shouldn't have. I don't really know how to describe some of the things that we've done without blatantly saying it.
Confessing.
It's my police confession tape.
When at some point in the evening, someone would make the idea or present the idea of going to the sugar mill. Describe what that was like.
Am I allowed to describe what that's like?
I mean, without using explicit content, walk us through what that even means. I mean, most people don't even know what that is. So just cautiously walk us through what it meant what that all meant.
So there's a broken down sugar mill, as you know, on what's that, 3rd?
Yeah, 3rd
Yeah.
and the 36. Or
3rd and
119.
Right? So everyone's seen it whenever they drive into town. They just know what it was. It's just that old factory. And essentially what happened is we drive over there, park, and walk down the street and just look at the sugar mill and do nothing else.
Just kind of stare at it for a really long time.
Yeah. Because you're not allowed to trespass, Hunter.
So, the social life that you have experienced here has been pretty exuberant and taken a variety of shapes and sizes, for lack of a better term. What has been one of the strangest things you've seen while interacting within those social circles?
Oh God, that's hard. A lot of things Dylan does.
Dylan McNamara?
Yeah, a lot of things Dylan McNamara does. Like the fraternity goat head chopping off video.
Oh my God, okay, yeah. I know
That
what
was
you're
messed
talking-
up, and he just came up and shoved that in my face. God, there's so much stuff that's happened. I can't think of it all.
As soon as
Like-
soon as it gets in your head,
Yeah.
just start going on a tangent.
See, some of the strangest.
The order in which you go in doesn't have to make sense. You can jump from story to story. It doesn't matter.
I have like half stories in my head.
That's
I'm
fine.
trying to complete them.
That's fine. You just tell it like you only know part of it, but this is the part you know.
Some of the strangest. Let's see. We've in the parking lot a lot.
In the
stuff
parking
happens
lot?
because, it's a high school parking lot. There's a bunch of guys screwing around, and I've been hit by more than one of my friends.
Wait, like by a car?
Yeah. Like, I was standing in front of Dylan's to piss him off, and he just kind of floored it, and I went up on his hood. So, stuff like that happens more than it should. Let's see, we had the opt-out cookout whenever everyone opted out of the whatever testing.
The park testing.
Park testing, right? And we just grilled stuff in the back of the parking lot. And Rowan Volkman just played his music super loud with his giant subs in the back of his Expedition. And we cooked food, and then at the very end, Chambers came over and started yelling at everybody. It was like, why can't they cook to finish that? And yeah, it was probably top 3.
So top 3, goat video, getting hit by a car, opt-out cookout. Those are Austin's top 3 strangest moments. All right. Where do you see yourself going from here with all of the insane things you've gone through here at the school? Where do you see yourself? How do you see yourself moving on from all this?
Making crazy stories somewhere else. I mean, honestly, I don't know. I'm going to take it and just see how everything goes. Right?
Well, where do you want to go to school?
Well, I'm waiting on 2 acceptance or one acceptance letter at the moment for Appalachian State, North Carolina, and then my second choice is Fort Lewis in Durango.
And what do you want to do?
Something in the business field. I know that because I've grown up around that. That's been everything that I've learned. I work as a bank teller right now, so I got an in finance at the moment.
You got an in as a bank teller?
I do. It's a hard job to get as a high schooler.
Really?
Yeah, they don't really hire part-time people. I'm the only part-time person in my bank.
Why? How did you get that job then?
Well, my dad works with the, branch manager, and they said they could use some extra help after school. So I came in and applied, and I got hired, and then they're moving one of the other tellers up to be a supervisor, and yeah, so I'm kind of replacing someone, and I'll work full-time over the summer, so.
You had another job before this one.
Chick-Fil-A, yeah.
Talk about it. I can't even try to summarize it. Just talk about your time at Chick-Fil-A in detail.
Okay, so I got hired on the spot, my interview. Todd really liked me. Started working there. My third day on the job, I was actually trained by Sidney Hunnell's brother. My third day on the job, I got a huge order, and I didn't know what to do, so I totally screwed everything up. It's for a massive catering order, and my boss was in the kitchen cooking, which he said if that was happening, then everybody needs to help, because bad stuff was happening. I worked there all summer, sophomore to junior summer. Not that much stuff interesting happened then.
Really? Nothing?
Well, because I worked with the day staff.
All
the high schoolers worked at night. I was one of the two young people that worked during the day.
How were you able to work during the day?
Well, because it was during the summer.
Oh, okay. But what about during school?
I would move to working nights and closing all the time. So, I worked with Sidney Hunnell and Christiana and Kelly Jones and all those people. So, Megan Vara. So on the regular, it was boy drama, girl drama, or party drama. That was my nights listening to it. We got we'd run around the kitchen and smack each other with wet towels and leave welts, and you just ate a ton of fried chicken and messed around the kitchen pretty much.
Did you ever get involved with any of those 3 dramas that you always heard about?
Not really, because they weren't Sidney and Christiana went to Silver Creek, but they didn't have that much boy drama. And Megan Vara went to Niwot, and Kelly Jones goes to Skyline. So I wasn't really involved with them except for at work. And then the party drama, occasionally, because we throw some Chick-fil-A parties.
Chick-fil-A parties?
Yep, and it was Chick-fil-A staff.
What's a Chick-fil-A party?
Well, it's a party with only Chick-fil-A staff. And it was all the high schoolers, and it was a party, and that was, you heard about the drama. It was pretty funny.
Staff, just wanted to remind you that today is the signing day in the library, so please head over to the library in about 10 minutes to cheer those students on that are signing their futures.
Okay. Let's go a couple more questions, and then we should be good to go. What is a story? I don't know if I've already asked this or not, actually. These interviews are getting mixed around. What is a story that every time you and your friends get together, it always gets retold somehow, some way. It gets brought up, or it will. Devin and Bethany. Okay, not that story. Some other story.
Oh, God.
It can be more than one, too.
I know, I've got to think. Because I told you about the car surfing.
Mm-hmm.
One time we were at Garrison's house, and he has a hot tub, right, in his backyard. So we wanted to use it, but it was half empty, and cold because it was in February. So our solution was to fill up hot water from the shower heads in giant buckets and carry it out and dump it in. The hot tub didn't warm up till the next day. It was still freezing cold. We had to like break up the hose, and it was, yeah, that's one of them. Let's see. I don't remember if you were there for this one, but the Fugitive on Lake Valley.
I never got to play Fugitive with you guys.
Oh, well, we had one time we played Fugitive on the golf course at Lake Valley, and that usually gets brought up because we all got split up at one point, and Dylan McNamara disappeared for like an hour and came back with a golf flag. Because he just took off. Everybody just took off, and he like, yeah. So there was that, and then standing at the base of the sugar mill on the road. Nowhere near the fence. The first time, whenever there's that massive group of people, you remember that one.
But what?
I can't really explain why that one gets brought up.
Well, what happened?
I can't say that without incriminating.
All right.
One time, me and Tim Taylor and Hannah went on a hike at Mount Snevis, right? And Tim got a call from his grandma asking where I was, and he wasn't supposed to be out of the house. So we were trying to get back as fast as we could, and I led them off the trail, and we got lost for about an hour before we found the trail again.
Before we found the trail, not the end of it.
Yeah. So there was that.
We were gone for an hour?
Mm-hmm.
When did you finally get to your car?
Like 2 hours later. And then we drove back to Longmont.
What is the time frame for this story?
Okay, so like 12 o'clock, we're like, yeah, let's go on a hike. So we leave and we go and hike Mount Sanitas.
12 o'clock at night?
No.
In the day?
In the day.
Okay.
But it was between sophomore and junior summer. So, parents were still a little bit, like, I don't know, about children driving and stuff like that. So we had gone on the hike. We'd made it almost to the top, and then Tim gets a call. So it's like, okay, we got to go. I think the fastest way is this way because the trail, we're more than halfway done. And it sections off, and we go down the wrong one. And we end up on someone's private property, like a mile away from the trail, and then have to hike back across to find the trail again, to hike down and leave.
And what time did you finally get to the car?
Like 3 o'clock. He got the call at like 1.
So to close out, you've experienced a lot here, and those experiences make you who you are. But how many more experiences do you think you have left to go before you graduate by
like
reunion?
Mid-May.
By reunions and stuff like that. How many possible more things do you think can happen to you or can happen to a person before they're finally refined and they're themselves?
I don't think that's possible, honestly. I think that experiences will keep defining a person no matter how old they are. Something big happens to an 85-year-old, he'll change. So, I think you just keep changing depending on the situations.
But do you think that it's inherently... Do you think that people constantly change, or do you think it's more like every once in a while something crazy will happen and that might change you?
As you're younger, I think you change a lot more often. You're a lot more mobile, you have a lot less memories, you have a lot less of a stable who you are. As you're older, it takes more to move you, but you can still change. It's all dependent on, how many things happen to you in high school. If you had a pretty boring high school or crazy high school,
All right. Well, thank you, Austin.
Yeah, man.
I'll see you around.